I never liked football anyway, really. Hey, what's going on, peoples? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I do hope you're all doing well today. I might stand back a little bit. Am I in focus? Yeah, I think so. I always feel like I'm chopping off the top of my head when I'm editing, so, you know. Anyways, the morning after Chelsea got absolutely battered by West Brom at home, 5 goals. Yeah, it wasn't a fever dream. Apparently it happened. And we're all trying to, you know, seek therapy, move on emotionally, and just basically progress with our lives. Liverpool won, that's no good, is it? Let's join in prayer and hope West Ham, Everton and Tottenham will lose. Anyway, welcome back to Chelsea News, the daily series here on Football Therapy, where I go across the rag, see what's being said regarding the Blues, tell you that and give you my opinion, and more importantly ask me yours. A couple of stories I do want to talk about today, my sweet friends, is updates on the big transfer sensational story of the summer that will not stop and will remain a information freight train is Erling Haaland, of course, because Chelsea don't really ever score goals, do they? They scored 2 against West Brom, and that's really their maximum. We really need that player that's going to score more. Could be Haaland. Anyway, some updates from him and some context of what the situation is. And I do want to talk about Tammy Abraham. I'm not going to sing the chant. It's pretty sad. Of course, he was excluded from the squad against West Brom. No injury, apparently. So I want to talk about that a little bit and the implications. So then, get comfortable, subscribe to this channel if you're new and you want daily content regarding a Chelsea Football Club. Drop a like on the video if you want to show your support to me. I really do appreciate that. As we get into the first story of today's video and we talk about our number 9, Tammy Abraham. Boy, what a feel-good story it was. For some time, Tammy Abraham playing for Chelsea Football Club as the striker. Of course, he's been with Chelsea since, was it under 7s or under 6s, whatever it is. There's that picture of him and Roman Abramovich when he's only a little small man. Here's the picture now. I believe Dominic Solanke's there too. Very, very nice. Obviously, he goes for the academy, wins everything at academy level, goes on loan to Bristol City, and just is like 1 goal off being the top goal scorer in the championship as a teenager. I believe he broke the record in the championship as a teenager for scoring goals. Comes up to the Premier League with Swansea and has a bit of a horror show in terms of experience. They get relegated, but he really didn't have much of a chance there. Goes back down to the championship with Aston Villa, scores a bunch of goals again, only just off the golden boot yet again. And I believe he broke a record for Aston Villa for like 25 years, the player to score the most goals in a quarter of a century or something. Another record broken for young Tammy Abraham. And of course, recent history, we all know Frank Lampard comes to Chelsea. Him and his youth coaches, Jody Morris and Joe Edwards, they believe in Abraham. Give him the number 9 shirt. He scores a decent amount of goals for Chelsea in his first season, 18 I believe, and that was across the Premier League and the Champions League, so a very high level. You know, a few assists to go with that. Decent for his first season playing for Chelsea, considering he's so young. Of course, he got a hat-trick as well. And now we come to this season, split up by Frank Lampard and Thomas Tuchel. Of course, he's sort of been in and out of the team with both the coaches for Olivier Giroud and sometimes Timo Werner or Havertz, depending who's playing down the middle. And suddenly, he's fallen out of favour entirely. I believe he's our top goal scorer still, Tammy Abraham, and of course he was last season. So it feels a little bit peculiar to have him left out so much. Anyway, the story is, of course, that he was excluded from Chelsea's squad against West Brom. And bearing in mind, he didn't have an international duty to go to, or he didn't have international duty. He had a little knock, but apparently he's not injured now and has been training with the team. But Thomas Tuchel did not select him for even the squad to play at home against 19th place West Brom. Now we know what followed, it kind of flips the script a little bit, but prior to that you think, what, they're 19th place, it's West Brom, we're at home, not even in the squad, Tammy Abraham. Now, I'm going to tell you what Thomas Tuchel had to say about the situation now when he spoke to TALKSPORT. Explaining Abraham's absence, Tuchel told TALKSPORT, "He was not in the squad. I have to nominate 18 players. There are tough choices to make. We take the choices of what the game demands, what we predict, of the substitutions that we have. In the end, we have to select 18 players for more or less 20 positions. So we have to leave 3 players out, and Tammy was one of these 3 players. It's nothing personal or nothing big. He has the same chance to play every 3 days as everybody else. Like a calm, collected politician. And that's true. Yes, you look at the opposition and say, we need to select this player. We've got a lot of good players. Good players are going to be left out. I get it. And Tammy Abraham is not some sort of elite Galactico that you have to start like Eden Hazard. But the truth is, man, he is a goal scorer. He loves the club, and I say that because he will always try his hardest. And he's a decent player, and it's West Brom at home. So although, you know, he's being very diplomatic there, Tuchel, and everything he said is absolutely correct, you do have to raise an eyebrow, and I can understand now. Tammy Abraham, if things stay like this, he will go. You know, this is the club he's played for all his life and he loves, but he will go because he was already stalling to not sign his new deal under Lampard a long time ago when we were being linked with the likes of Timo Werner and stuff. And maybe he thought, well, Timo Werner plays on the left, Giroud's gonna go, I can come back into the fold. But now I think he's really likely to go in the summer. Now, if you ask my opinion on this, I don't necessarily think Tammy Abraham's the one to lead us to glory as, you know, the 25 Premier League goals a season goal scorer. But I still don't necessarily want him to go, because something I always say on this channel is he's much better than like a Loic Remry or a Batshuayi, our recent sort of second strikers. He's very good, Tammy, and I'd want to keep him at the squad, especially because he's an academy product. It would be very sad to see him go, but I could understand now if he goes. I don't necessarily think he's going to be like a Kevin De Bruyne situation where he suddenly becomes amazing, but Tammy Abraham's got a very strong professional attitude, and he's still so young. He scored so many professional goals in his career as like a first team player, and he's so young, and he's got the kind of mentality and attitude to get better. Like, even though he's not like starting striker now, maybe he will be at 25 years old, which is still yet to enter his prime. Do you know what I mean? So it's a peculiar one, it's difficult. I think Tammy Abraham might end up leaving Chelsea in the summer. We might sell him. I hope not, but I can see it happening. What do you guys think? Get down in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts, feelings and opinions on the Tammy Abraham situation as we move on to our next story of today's video. And of course, that's Erling Haaland. Right, citing more information from Fabrizio Romano. Of course, he's the one connected to all the transfers. He's got his ear to the ground. Lots of stuff to discuss with Erling Haaland. Of course, Mino Raiola and his father are touring around Europe and touting the potentiality of Haaland's transfer to the big European elite super clubs. I'm going to read you a couple of quotes that are relevant from Fabrizio Romano now. Borussia Dortmund will try and keep Haaland for another season, brackets price 150 million euros for this summer. But if they will not qualify for the Champions League, it will become even more difficult. Mino Raiola talks with 5 top clubs are only at the first stages and will move forward soon. Right, so this 150 million euro price tag maybe is dependent on them qualifying on the Champions League, for the Champions League, so they don't need to sell him. Let's quickly take a look at this Bundesliga table. So they are currently, right, they are 7 points off top 4 with 43 points, and Eintracht Frankfurt have got 5th. 7 points at this stage is quite a lot to overcome, especially when, you know, they've got loads of leaky defense issues as well. There's a very strong chance they won't finish in the top 4, and therefore they have to lower their 150 million euro asking price, because the Champions League funds are so imperative for big European clubs. Tens and tens of millions are in that competition, and of course when you're in it, the branding, the development of your players and stuff, it's a massive thing, it's so important. So they're likely to not finish in the Champions League spot, so therefore the price will go down, and then they will consider to dropping that 150 million euro price tag. Also as well, let's be real, man, Erling Haaland might stroll into the offices at Dortmund and be like, boys, you know, thanks and all, it's been great, I've scored a lot of goals, but I need to be playing in the Champions League. I'm not going to the Europa League with you guys. Sell me for a lot of money. I know you'll at least quadruple your money or something like that. They'll make loads of money on him, but sell me please. This is my transfer request. Bang. Do you know what I mean? We know he's talking to European super clubs like Real Madrid and Barcelona. This summer, Bayern Munich have ruled out an advance for him, so they would go for him when his buyout clause comes into effect next summer. And again, he seems like the perfect replacement for Robert Lewandowski, but he also seems like the perfect replacement for Sergio Aguero at Manchester City. And if financial fair play is to be scrapped, like certain reports suggest, then City would certainly have the money to buy their long-term successor for Aguero in Haaland for a lot of money. But I want to cite to you now another Fabrizio Romano tweet. Quoting Pep Guardiola, "With the economy in world football right now, there's more chance we are not going to sign a striker this summer. With current prices, we are not going to buy any striker. It's impossible. We cannot afford. All clubs are struggling financially, us as well." Now, off the bat, you think, wow, cool, he's ruling himself out. Chelsea are going to buy Erling Haaland, but also Pep Guardiola could be playing like 4D chess here, do you know what I mean? All clubs are struggling financially. Yeah, maybe legitimately on the books, but like I said, the aforementioned potentiality of financial fair play being scrapped. Man City are the richest club in the world. They're run by, well, they're like PSG, they're run by a state. They've got literally infinite funds. So they, of course, could buy Erling Haaland should that be afforded to them, if you forgive the terminology there. The truth is, it's not just Pep saying we're not going to buy a striker this summer. Mino Raiola, of course, came out recently and told The Athletic he will never deal with Guardiola again. And like Pep Guardiola, he might be talking crap, they might just do business because of the money, but both things put together, it makes you think, right, well, Haaland's not going to go to City. Likely not to go to United. Liverpool certainly won't spend the money. So you're looking at Chelsea now going, Chelsea are favourites to sign Erling Haaland. But again, massively would be on Chelsea finishing in the top 4 themselves, and by the end of this game week they could be outside the top 4. And the likes of West Ham don't have other competition obligations like Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? Chelsea could easily finish outside the top 4, then they don't have the revenue themselves. So it's a massive circus. We'll have to see what happens. But keep it locked here on Football Therapy, and I'll give you updates on these stories as and when they come. Make sure you are subscribed, and just as important, make sure the bell notifications icon is switched on so you get notified about uploads. If you enjoy my content, I would appreciate a like on the video and comment your thoughts down below. Other than that, my friends, I'm out. So enjoy the football if you can, and I'll see you later.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought. Body bag the verse, outlined in chalk. In my life seen trouble, hustle on the double. Silence on the trigger like my pick got a muzzle. Yo, chick like to guzzle, bad boy stay in trouble. I only love this paper, sorry I don't. I laugh me, baby.